and congratulations to the United Alternative Government for having thwarted the arrogance of the UDA, the ineptness of the party, the pride, and the bribery. We congratulate the people of Olkarau for having overcome the overwhelming measure of the state in misusing and misapplying the meager resources that we have. Information reaching us is that they spent 1.5 billion in bribery, and equally spent about 14 billion in projects. We're just hoping that those projects, because they were not complete as at the 16th, that the people of Olkarau embarrassed government in a big way, and government went with with an egg on its face, and we are able to prove that bribery cannot overcome and overwhelm the will of the people who are determined to regain their respect and their dignity. Of course, the government they decided to interfere with the elections, and they brought the state-sponsored militias, and it's a high time that we stop calling them goons, because those are state-sponsored militias. Goons will never have arms, they will never have any identifiable insignia, and therefore we must characterize these individuals so that then they can have an identity that will have some criminal element in it. These are state-sponsored militias. But one of the things that I learned, and it's a very positive thing, is the power of the finality of the polling station. I mean, the effect of minor KI's case. I witnessed that effect firsthand on two folds. One, that the polling stations were filled with competent and well-trained agency infrastructures, the agents. Number two, the IBC, that is the POs, the clerks, they were equally up to task, and they executed their function with a high sense of precision and professionalism. Number three is a competent observation infrastructure, the individuals observing the elections. It must be said and must be remembered that LSK, through the Gema Wadho Association and the Mount Kenya jurists, volunteered over 200 advocates who are accredited to act as observers. Those observers made sure that the Election Act is followed to the letter. Allow me then go back to the question of the magic of the finality of the polling station. You know what happened in Bal is that during the sorting out of the ballot papers, when we were sorting them out, you know, as we sort them, you could still count them. Our agents were able to get the number even before the tally was done. So as the PO was now organizing the tally and the filling of the Form 35, we had already declared the elections at the polling station level. We never waited for the tallying center at the constituency tallying center. We declared the elections as early as 6 o'clock. Tells you, political party with a strong infrastructure of agency, you have to fear not. You cannot rig the election at the polling station when we have these well-trained agents. And of course, we will then be left to deal with the issues of the procedures. But as the question of rigging the elections, if you have a strong mechanism on the IBC, it is not possible to steal and rig that election. So my take home is that we still have some lessons to learn, that away from the polling station, 400 meters away, they manned their elections. What that tells you is that in the future, the IBC must never allow a person other than the voter to access the polling station. That is a vigilance. So that if you have to access the polling station, we must be able to know so and so is a credited person and is permitted to access polling station. Just to avert any situation where individuals are having some bit of discomfort, thinking that the elections will be rigged. I think we still have some work to do on the Election Act, especially the issue of anchoring infrastructure into the Election Act. The agent must not be seen as a passive person. We must be able to properly anchor that person in the Election Act and provide the necessary infrastructure where instead of taking notes, the agent's notes, where they are taking them on an exercise book, we need a legal provision in the Election Act with a statutory form showing that this form will be given to the agents because they are equally important legal infrastructure in an election. And that will firm up and buttress and empower the finality of the elections at the polling station. In the case of anything, then we shall be having that statutory form where that is recognized in the election perspective that a petitioner can in the future utilize. Those are some of the lessons learned. We are happy to have embarrassed the government, and then this will be replicated many times.
Thank you so much.
But sorry, only one more thing as I land is that this election, our party, Wiper Patriotic Front, heavily supported DCP in that election. The magic of the polling station, I think I have to write something, a recommendation to the IBC and the political parties.
There's no time the Mount Kenya people have voted the way it's describing. I don't know Kiambu, I don't know East. These people have maintained relevance nationally because they have always been united and voting in one basket. Otherwise, they won't just... This is a democracy. Mount Kenya is relevant in the country because it's always united. It's very hard to divide it because we are not together ideologically, politically. We are together socioculturally. And therefore, it's very hard to divide our people who are socioculturally together. More difficult. Number two, in a democracy, numbers actually matter. In fact, this unity now we are seeing with the lawyers. If it matures, the lawyers will be a force in the country. So anybody who is talking about, I don't know, Kiambu, where I don't know, East here, that is an enemy of society. That is somebody nobody should entertain. Either dividing in Kenya or dividing any part of Kenya. Just a minute. There is a video in India 3 months, I think, before this election. I was interviewed by some journalists on Kalou, and I said that even if William Ruto were to bring the military, he cannot win in Nyandarua. The most patriotic people we have ever produced in the Mount Kenya region are basically the Nyeri, and the majority of Nyandarua is Nyeri. During the Mau Mau, we had traitors from Kiambu. We actually did not have traitors in Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Meru, or Embu. So now, by impeachment of Gachagua, the humiliation of Gachagua, it became a humiliation of the community. Just the way we used to humiliate Raila, and the laws didn't like it. I can tell you for free, Dubao. In the election, Ruto will be lucky to get 1% of the total vote in the entire Mount Kenya region. It will be just next to impossible. Unless, of course, he takes the time now to make amends. Because in disappointed, these people bundle, they stood with him, they gave him their heart, they basically fell in love with him because he had a beautiful economic message. But then when he went there, he abandoned his message and he has not delivered. Because a sitting in government can zero record, that is number one, or he can zero a vision. William Ruto doesn't have a record to zero to the mountain, and in my opinion, even to Kenya. And he also now he has no vision because people now see him as somebody who is really not honest or genuine.